Yo, what's poppin', guys? Sizzle here, and today we're taking a look at the 2018 Inferno collection. So, first things first, we have the Mag 7 Rust Coat. And, yeah, it's a rusty Mag 7. Now, this skin's kind of notable in the fact that these little, I think they're called parallelograms. I don't know what they're called. These shapes, these two shapes, normally are not included in a skin file. Most Mag 7s, if you look at it, these are the stock, like, black color. So they're included in the skin, which is cool. And yeah, looks like a rusty shotgun. For people who like that, this is a phenomenal skin. I'm personally not one of those people. I like a more pristine looking skin, so it's gonna be a lower tier one for me. I'm gonna be putting it probably in bottom C tier. I think bottom C tier is a good place to put it. Wouldn't really hate having this, so I can't realistically put it in D tier. Like it's something I'd actually maybe pick up every, at some point, but not really something I'm looking forward to. Next up, we have the UMP-45 Mutter, which is a sandy camo with very, very sandy colors on the UMP. Yeah, it's your basic camo skin. I mean, it is a bit brighter because sand colors are a bit brighter, but it doesn't even cover the whole weapon. I can't realistically say it's an F tier, but it's an easy D tier for me because it's basic camo skin. Next up, we have the AUG 7 Sweeper, and this seems to be one of those skins that's bugged for me, very pixelated for no reason. And keep in mind, this here's a fact new one, .050. Actually, decent fact new one. Scratched to hell, though. It looks like the entire weapon is scratched. The front might not be scratched, could just be the design. Looks scratched there. Looks scratched here. Definitely scratched here. Looks scratched in the back. The design seemed like an AUG that's been roughed up a lot, and then randomly has some orange and white stripes on it. I don't know what they were going for here. I don't like the look of it at all, and it doesn't even cover the front of the weapon. Not that many AUG skins do, but this one doesn't, so it's just another another thing that kind of makes it worse. I think it's an F tier. I think it looks worse than stock. I'd rather be running around with the stock AUG, so that's that. Next up we have the MP9 Slide, which it's a gray MP9, so different from stock, and then covered with brown shit stains or just brown stripes, I guess. Not a beautiful looking color, but it is a simplistic design, and all the scratches this thing does have, despite being a worse factory new one, are very well hidden by the natural MP9 kind of indents and stuff. So I can't say this is too bad because it looks clean, but I think the color choice is horrible, and the design is very uninspired. So I'll put this top of D. I think I'd rather have like a rust coat for sure, and that's bottom of C if even. So yeah. Next up, we have our final consumer grade, the MP5 SD Dirt Drop. And yeah, it has those weird kind of like paint stripes that they love to include in a lot of the older weapons, but I guess they add it for some of the newer ones. Doesn't look good. These random black stripes don't look good, and the base design is just a gray version of stock. I would actually, yet again, this is a skin where I just rather be using stock. I just think it looks worse than stock. I can't say it looks as bad as the AUG, because at least it looks somewhat similar to stock, but it's just worse than stock, so it's an easy F tier for me. Next up, we have the PP-Bizon Candy Apple, and it's just kind of clean. This is a decent fact new one. It's got a few scratches, but they're very hard to spot. And the nice red finish of the main part of the gun looks clean. As I say with a lot of Bison skins, if this bottom barrel here was covered, it would be 50 times better. But in its current state, it's clean. Definite upgrade from stock. I would say it's the best thing we've looked at so far. It's very simple. It's literally just a red recoloring at the top. But I really like the look of this color red. I think it looks beautiful, and I would love to have this Bison. So pretty easy seats here for me. Best one we've seen so far. Next up we have the Mac 10 calf skin, and wow, it's a light blue. This looks beautiful. It's a very large leather finish. Got like a little leather handle here for some reason. The whole main handle is leather. Even the mags and stuff are kind of retardedly colored to look like leather. And then the main finish of the weapon is a brown checker pattern that doesn't look like a shit stain though, just a nice color brown. And everything else is a very, very beautiful color of white. I really like how this looks. I don't notice any scratches, and this isn't particularly well done factory new. So that's also a big plus. Looking really clean is always really good. And it says Quattro Root, Ruote. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Probably some cool kind of reference or something though, so I guess that's another thing. And yeah, I mean, it's just a really, really nice looking recoloring of the Mac 10. I'd say it's a pretty easy beat here. It looks clean as shit. I actually kind of want one of these. I might pick one of these up after this video. Looks good. That's all I can really say about it. It actually looks really, really good, especially for a light blue. It's clean as shit. Next up, we have the R8 Revolver Nitro, which stock R8 with an orange handle. I guess it's a little bit better than stock, not by much. It's definitely better than camo skins, but I can't say it's actually decent skin, so top of D tier it is. Next up, we have the Glock 18 High Beam, which has a lot of different patterns. Sometimes you won't have these stripes. It uses the same shit as the Hypno, actually, but with a blue and light blue color scheme, which I think actually looks really nice. Something I do like is normally, with a lot of my skins, I like them to be complete. With the Glock in particular, I actually like it when it only covers this top portion, and that's all you really see in game anyway, so it ends up looking really clean. And with the right pattern, this can look really good. Like there's like a preview image of the skin. It looks actually like has a better pattern than this. And even without that, it's got a beautiful color scheme. And even with a semi-decent, I'd say this is a pretty bad pattern actually, it looks clean. Like I can't say this is necessarily bad. I'm gonna have to say this is right now it's top of C. I might move this up to B tier though. It is kind of clean. It's nowhere near as clean as that Mac 10 though. That Mac 10 is beauty. Yeah. Next up is our first mil spec, which is the sawed-off brake light. Yet again, using that hypnotic pattern, this time with a white and red, almost like Japanese style kind of thing. Kind of sucks that similar to most hypnotics, the rest of the gun is the stock. And this is a particularly good fact new, 0.03. So it's actually good fact new. The whole stock part of the weapon is super scratched. Even part of the design on the hypnotic, or the brake light, I guess, is super scratched. It doesn't look that great. Um, yeah. Obviously, this can have some better patterns that work better with this. Like the one in the preview has like a big orange patch in the back here. But being an unfinished skin is always a big no-no for me. I like having completed skins in my skin collection. So I'm gonna have to put this pretty low. I'm gonna say honestly it does about the same as the Nitro, but it looks a bit better than like a dark orange change. So I'll put it top of D tier for now. I think it's a pretty solid placement for it. And yeah. Next up we have the M4A4 Converter, which is interesting. This is a good fact new, and the mag is almost completely falling apart, so that's not a good sign. A lot of scratches on the sight, a lot of scratches all over, and the base design is weird. A bunch of hexagon patterns with black and red at random, seemingly random intervals. And the front here isn't retextured, and the back here isn't retextured. It looks exactly like stock. I don't know what they were going for here, especially with the handle. The handle, this part, and the back part here all look out of place because the rest of it's such a mess and those parts are so clean. I can't say this is good at all. I would want this. I straight up wouldn't want this. I don't know why. I mean, it's nothing about this is particularly horrible, but I just wouldn't want this. I would never want to get this skin, so I'm gonna put it in D tier, even though it definitely is a lot more design than these four that are in D tier. It's just not a skin I would want. I don't even know how to describe it. It just has a bad design, in my opinion. Next up, we have the USPS check engine. It's one of those bug skins for me where it's super pixelated, so this is probably a little bit better than what I'm getting credit for. But in my game files with my pixelation problem, it doesn't look that great. There's a 0.05 float, and you can notice a lot of scratches, even a scratch on the P in USP. That's how bad it is. Yikes. That is bad. And the base design isn't really anything to look at. It's generally an overall red finish, which is kind of nice, I guess. And there's just some random dots and stuff on the weapon. Like there's dots here, red like dots with a red background, and then some random stuff that kind of gets in the way. And then the back here almost looks like just red, almost like blood cells going through space or something. I have no clue. This thing is scratched a ton despite being a pretty good fact new skin here. Pretty good condition, sorry. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Not for me, particularly. I can't say this is as bad as the M4, though. I would see myself at least getting this. I'm gonna put it above the Mag 7. I think it's a low C tier skin for me. Next up, we have the SSG 08 Handbrake, and wow, what an upgrade from that last skin. Looked clean as fuck. I don't see any scratches. Unfortunately, the scope isn't recolored or like the back or anything, but they do look clean. They don't look scratched at all. And this isn't particularly fact new. .059 is basically .06. And it just has a nice design, you know. White and blue go very well together. Has this cool like shield pattern in the middle for the part of the weapon that you'd be seeing in game. And it looks really good in pretty much all things of lighting. It just looks like a really clean, well thought out design. Two very simple color schemes with some, you know, basic designs like throughout the weapon. I mean, this is really the only one I can see in the 25 right there. And it's just got a basic checkered pattern that doesn't force itself, though. It's not like all you can see is the checkered pattern. You actually kind of have to look to see it, and then it just looks clean. Yeah, it's just a clean skin. Can't really go wrong with it. Probably high C tier for me, and I'm gonna move up that Glock to B tier. I knew I would, and seeing the rest of these skins, I can confidently put that Glock in B tier. Next up, we have the P250 Vino Primo, which same little shield design, so it's probably uses the same pattern, same checker pattern. That's a very beautiful color of like purplish pink. It looks really, really cool. Kind of, you know, Vino Primo makes you think of like grapevines. This looks like kind of grape color. It looks really, really nice. I like how it looks. Doesn't particularly get affected by lighting, which for me is a negative, for other people isn't. They probably might actually like that. So it's always going to look this good, which actually looks really clean. And like I said, the checker pattern, it doesn't force itself very hard, and it looks kind of clean. Unfortunately, it's a weird, like, grassy background, but I can't say this looks bad. This was clearly very well thought out. Everything fits perfectly. The weapon is perfectly, like, segregated with the different designs. The 65 is very noticeable. The Quattro. These little like slots on the back of the PT50 have either been recolored or just look naturally good with the color they chose the background there. The checker pattern is covering the parts of the gun that isn't used by the main design, and they don't draw your eyes away from the good looking part of the design. It's a good looking gun. That's all I can really say. Not as good as the Mac 10. That Mac 10 is really clean, especially for light blue. That thing's insane. You can't really beat that. It's hard to beat. Might even move that up to A tier depending on what we have. But considering we have the MP7 Fade next, I can't say that it would be. Now this is a horrible fade. I don't know what they were doing with this. It scratched up a bunch for whatever reason. And it's a stupid good float, so I don't know why these scratches are visible. And it has a horrible pattern. It has like a white front instead of the purple. Now this is a rare case where I actually owned the skin ahead of time. So I'm actually going to show you what a good fade looks like and try to shit on what these guys are doing. This is a better looking fade. There's a few scratches, obviously. There's some on the bottom here. But very hard to spot. And, you know, the nice fade of, you know, gold, pink, purple looks really nice. You can't really go wrong with it. That's all there's to say. Fades are really well desired for a reason. They just look beautiful. You can apply a fade to anything and it'll look really nice. Now this one doesn't look particularly impressive, so for that reason I'm gonna have to give it an A tier instead of an S tier. But it's pretty good. You can't really go wrong with it. I don't see any way that anyone would really want to complain about getting the MP7 fade. So there you go. This is another one I've gotten this actually as a drop, the AK-47 safety net. It's interesting. It's definitely very unique AK design. You don't see anything really like this. It's got a very nice looking white and black tip, and this white part right here looks good, and the black like magazine here looks beautiful. And then it's got this random orange safety net covering the rest of the skin. Now it doesn't look particularly bad, especially from a distance. Your eyes might just see like orange and white, and that's actually a decent combo. I mean, anything in white or anything in black just looks good. So orange, black, and white actually look really nice together. But if you really come and expect the skin, the safety net doesn't look particularly nice. I definitely can't say it looks bad, especially in such a pristine condition. This thing doesn't look horrible. So if nothing else, I'm gonna put in the C tier right below the clean ass bison, the candy apple. I think that's a pretty solid placement for it. It's very unique design. If the whole thing was just a very basic black and white going across the whole gun, I think I would fall in love with the skin instantly. But randomly, they decided that this safety net pattern should be applied to everything, and I think it kind of takes away a lot from this skin. So I can't particularly say it's great, but I can't say it's bad. So yeah, I think it belongs very well in the C tier. Next up, we have the dual Berettas twin turbo, and these have a very nice color scheme. They actually have like a Christmas color scheme of red, white, and green, and a lot of different racing references, I think. There's B, Rick Oil, so that's probably oil. Turbo is like speed. And Tinya, all these random company looking logos, they all look like racing logos. And the general finish of these like dual Berettas almost look like the same color scheme and designs that you'll see in a race car, and they look clean as fuck. To be fair, this is a really good fact new at .03, but I don't see any scratches. Straight up, I can't find any. I don't know if my eyes are just skipping over them, but I don't see any scratches on this weapon, and the design is very, very noticeable, very, very cool. And for people who love racing, this is like an A1 skin. I think A1's also a racing term, so. But yeah, no, these look really nice, very noticeable, and I actually think these look nicer as a Christmas skin almost. I don't know why. I think the color scheme. But yeah, very just cool, basic kind of racing skin. Can't really go wrong with it yet again. I can't. I'm gonna say that it's definitely better than the Mac 10 there, but I think the fade's still nicer in my opinion. I don't know why. But yeah, these are really solid. You can't really go wrong with them. Easy B tier for me. And our final weapon is the SG553 Inner Grail. Now, first thing to notice is the SG553 here actually has a weapon that uses the whole skin, and this might not seem that important to people who haven't watched a lot of my videos, but if you have, you'll know there's a lot of SG553 skins that only use like this main middle portion here and nothing else, and they just look horrible. So just using the whole skin, big plus for me. And it uses a really, really nice color scheme. Red, blue, and white. I mean, like red, white, and blue, like the American flag, same color scheme. That's beautiful. You can't go wrong with that. You know, USA all the way, boys. No, but in all honesty, still a bunch of random racing jargon and just a really clean finish and color scheme. Yet again, I'm having a very hard time finding scratches on this thing, if any exist at all. And I'm personally not a fan of racing, so I can't rate this too high because it's not my type of style. But I would never complain about getting one of these. So I think honestly, I'll put it in the A tier. I don't think anything in this collection was like stood out immensely though. I don't think any of the skins that we looked at today were something like I was like, I need this. That's kind of what the S tier is for. It's for weapon skins that make you think like, let me buy this. Let me pour my whole bank account into this game to get this skin. Nothing in that collection really screamed that to me, but we had a lot of really solid options. I was actually surprised. This weapons like collection here had nothing really bad going around. I mean, I had two like really bad skins, but everything else was like pretty solid, and I didn't have too many complaints about them. So yeah, pretty well done, CSGO, on the 2018 Inferno collection. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.